we shall go to Demolition. And a lot of these are completely different questions to what I've asked Bill, because obviously there were so many questions about Demolition when I announced you two guys were coming in. And the first one is Falcon. Asks, when Barry first came in, he had a different face paint every match. How did he come up with his designs he became known for, and the white base with the red and black design? So I didn't realise you had a different design like every TV.
Yeah, you're doing it on the fly. You don't even know what you're doing. So at the beginning, it was just like, let's try this, let's try that, and you try to figure out what looks good, and then whatever you thought looked good to yourself, you thought, well, you know what? Maybe I can try to do that same thing. Well, it was hard to even get the same thing done a lot of times. So whenever it switched after a while, it was because I couldn't remember what I did the next time. I mean, it's hard to do that, and sometimes you got a little mirror like this big because, some of the buildings that you're in, you're not in a huge dressing room with a giant mirror, So that's kind of how it was. Whatever you thought looked good, that's what you did.
Are you like a big Kiss fan? And that was part of the inspiration, or?
No, not at all. It just did that. I never even really watched them or anything.
Okay, we've got quite a few questions about face paint here, so I'll pick a couple of them. People are very, very interested to know. And Tim has asked, why did you always leave your eyes unpainted?
Because I didn't want paint in my eyes.
Fair enough then. Was it just getting it in there?
Yeah, it's hard. Somebody gives you a headlock or something, and it wipes off and goes in your eyes. So, I just kept it away from my eyes, and I didn't want, and I think maybe one time I had it too close to my eyes, and it got in there, and then the whole time so I just kind of kept it away from the eyes.
I didn't ask you this before, but what was the original inspiration for like the first design you ever did?
The first, it was just they wanted face paint, and I never seen anybody with face paint or anything, so I didn't know what to do. So I just thought, putting different designs, with like lightning bolts kind of deal is how I was looking at it. That was kind of what my design was a lightning bolt.
This isn't face paint based, but Brando Lee wanted to know, did Vince make you wear your elbow pad over your bicep to cover the tattoo that you had as Crusher Khrushchev, or was it your idea?
That was my idea. And what started it was I had like a stinger. Somebody hit me with their head in my arm really hard, and it was killing me, and I could hardly raise my arm. So I put that pad on, and then that's what started the whole thing. And I thought, well, shoot, that's kind of the gimmick. I'll just keep it on there. So now, that's a weapon I could use,
Speaking of which as well, when I was talking to Bill, he said, well, we couldn't use Randy Colley because he was getting recognised too much and people were chanting Moondog. So, you are already established in the NWA. Did many people recognise you under the face paint as Smash?
Nobody ever said, hey, is that Crusher Khrushchev? I never heard.
Really? That's crazy.
Not one person. Yeah. And I think what it was, it was so divided, the NWA and the WWF. You were either a fan of the NWA or a fan of the WWF. And I think that's what it was. And I wasn't, a Ric Flair or Dusty or Harley. So, I was just another wrestler that they didn't recognize who I was.
I find that crazy. There must be some crossover. There must have been someone who came up.
Well,
to you.
when I became the Repo Man, nobody even knew that. There was only a few people that even knew that I was the Repo Man.
Really?
People to this day come for autographs and they go, "Who was the Repo Man?" They still don't even know I was the Repo Man.
Wet Bandit Studio says, elaborate on Procuring the iconic entrance gear. Whose idea was it? Were they custom made, and was it expensive?
It was given to us by the WWF. And I think Bill and Randy kind of helped create what that look was. And, because when I got up there, it was all ready for me to go. So, I suppose between the office and Randy Colley and Bill, that's how it all got created.
So basically, you just turn up and there it is.
Yeah, and it was so and I was so excited I wasn't going to say a word otherwise. Give it to me, I'll wear it and I'll wrestle. That was it. But Bill probably Bill and Randy probably came up with the majority of what the look was. Because I know at one time Randy wanted to have fur on the boots, and Bill says no, we're not going to do that.
Were there any other designs that sort of didn't make it past the drawing board in that sense? Do you know?
Well, when I was up in the office when I first got there was a whole bunch of different designs, all different looks, and the look that we had was, what the exact look we had wasn't in those pictures, so it was different from what I saw.
Next one, Wild Wine asks, to either serious question, where did they get the Demolition gear? Was it from an S&M shop?
I don't know where they got it from. I think somebody that they knew made it. But what was funny was somebody stole our arm pads, and Bill and I went to San Francisco, and we went to a shop that was one of those shops and got different arm gear. And it was kind of funny because we were walking in there wondering what in the heck are we doing, but that's the only place we could find them that were already made.
Was it an eye-opener? Was this a specialist, adults only special interest shop?
That's about what it was, yes. And here's Bill, two clean-cut guys, walking in. And that was what was so fun about the gimmick.
Lisa Broyles, my question would be, did you guys ever have your luggage searched at an airport? Watching a TSA agent pulling the Demolition gear out of a carry-on would be hilarious to witness.
We got stopped all the time, and people would look at it and go, what's this? Yeah, and put it on. A lot of times you had to carry the belts we had them so long. They'd take the belts out, they'd put them on, and then they'd take pictures and stuff. And it's like you're sitting there waiting to get on the plane, and here these guys are messing with all your stuff. Yeah, it was hard because we had to carry that on all the time. We couldn't, afford to have it checked in and lose it. So
this is the one I'm actually most interested in. Bermondsey Bob says, did the metal rings on the backs of the Demolition costumes have any effect on the bumps? Could they feel them on a flat back bump, for example? It's something I've always wondered.
No, I never did feel that at all. But the little things that were on our trunks below, the little steel pieces, every once in a while when you hit, you could feel them kind of in your ass cheeks, little steel metal things going, But the big ring, you could never feel that.
I find that so weird that you can't feel that because it was substantial.
Yeah. Well, we didn't take many bumps either, so.
Well, fair enough then. Fayeson says, their entrance song was and is one of the all-time greatest entrance songs. Did they have any input with the song? And what were their opinions of the Demolition entrance music?
We didn't have any say on that or anything to do with that. And still to this day, I think it's one of the best songs for guys to go to the ring. Mm-hmm. But Jimmy Hart, he came to us one weekend and he says, Barry, Bill, we got a song that we're going to get for you guys. It's kick ass is what he said. So he was the one, him and, Rick Derringer and, somebody else, they all created that thing. So we never even knew what it was going to be like, how it was going to sound, what the words were. And when we heard the music, we didn't hear, the song part of it. We both looked at it and went, holy shit, that's a hell of a, the guitars and all that stuff in there. So when we finally went to the ring and heard, here comes the action, I mean, it was right away, it was like, wow, what a song. And I think it helped make us that song.
Well, I was going to say, they're coming to you with a bespoke song, great lyrics. They got Rick Derringer involved. It actually sounds like a song that wasn't, do you know what I mean? It doesn't sound like it was an in-house produced song. It sounds like a real song you'd hear on the radio. It's a great entrance thing. Are those
and it was on the radio. It was on the radio.
Was it really?
Oh, yeah. Here in the States, you heard it a lot.